Chosen ones, God's final test is here. Pass this and your life changes forever. That stirring in your chest, that quickening of your pulse, that whisper in your spirit telling you this moment is different. It's not your imagination. This is heaven's clarion call, sounding through the chaos of your life, demanding your attention before the clock strikes midnight. You didn't stumble upon this message while scrolling aimlessly. No, divine providence guided you here, to this sacred second where eternity pauses to meet you. Right now, as the world spins in its ordinary rhythm, God is orchestrating a divine appointment just for you. This isn't another video in your feed. It's a spiritual summons, a test that will determine whether you step into the destiny written for you before the stars were hung in the sky or remain tethered to the shadows of what could have been. Feel that weight on your shoulders? That's not fatigue. That's the gravity of this moment. For years, you've carried burdens no one else could see, rejections that stung like open wounds, dreams that crumbled like sandcastles, prayers that seemed to vanish into a silent void. You've wondered why your path feels steeper, why your heart aches with a purpose you can't fully name. Chosen one, hear this truth. Every struggle, every tear, every sleepless night was not punishment, it was preparation. God wasn't breaking you, He was building you. Like a blacksmith forging a blade in fire, He's been shaping you for a purpose so magnificent it required this refining. Your pain wasn't random, it was purposeful. Your trials weren't accidents, they were assignments. And now the final test stands before you. Not to prove your worth, but to reveal it. This video unveils a unique truth. Your deepest doubts are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. The enemy has whispered that your questions, your hesitations, your moments of weakness disqualify you. But God says otherwise. In this sacred hour, you'll discover how the very doubts you've carried are the raw materials for your divine transformation. The Bible declares in James 1:2-4, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Your faith journey has brought you to this crossroads, where the test of your doubts will unlock your divine purpose. This isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about passing the test by choosing faith over fear, trust over trembling, destiny over doubt. Picture a vast desert, cracked and barren under a relentless sun. You've walked this wilderness, haven't you? Your throat parched, your feet blistered, your heart heavy with questions. Why me, God? Why this struggle? Why this silence? But look closer. In the distance, shimmering like a mirage made real, stands a golden gate, its surface etched with your name in letters that pulse with heavenly light. This gate doesn't lead to another desert. It opens to a garden of abundance, where every promise God spoke over you blooms in vivid color. But to reach it, you must pass through the final test. The test of believing you are worthy of what lies beyond. The enemy wants you to see a locked gate, an impossible barrier. But God says, "I have set before you an open door that no one can shut." Revelation 3:8. Will you walk toward it, or will you let doubt anchor you to the sand? Let's talk about Sarah, a single mother from Charlotte, North Carolina. For years, she poured her heart into a small bakery, kneading dough through tears as bills piled up and customers dwindled. She prayed for a breakthrough, but each closed door, a denied loan, a broken oven, a landlord's eviction notice, felt like God's silence. Doubt crept in, whispering that her dreams were foolish, that she wasn't enough. But one night, in a quiet moment, she felt a stirring. She wrote down a single goal: to cater a local church event for free, trusting God to open a path. That act of faith, small as a mustard seed, led to a contract with a community center, then a feature in a local magazine. Today, Sarah's bakery employs 5 people, and her story feeds hope to others. Her doubt didn't disqualify her. It was the test she passed by acting in faith. Your story isn't so different, chosen one. Your doubts are the canvas where God paints his miracles. Why does this moment feel so urgent? Because divine timing is precise, like a heartbeat synchronized with eternity. The Bible warns in Isaiah 55:6, "Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near." This is your window, your sacred now. Heaven is holding its breath, waiting for your response. The enemy knows this, and he's working overtime to drown you in doubt. He wants you to believe you're too broken, too late, too old. But God chose you, not because of your resume, but because of your heart. Before you were formed in the womb, he knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. Before you faced your first rejection, he called you. Before you doubted your worth, he declared it. This test isn't about earning his love. It's about embracing it. Let's address the doubt that's whispering in your ear right now. Maybe it's saying, "I've failed too many times." Or perhaps, "I'm not spiritual enough." Chosen one, hear this. Your failures are not your identity. They're your training ground. Think of Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times, his voice trembling as he swore he didn't know the Savior. Doubt and shame could have buried him, but Jesus saw beyond his failure. After the resurrection, Jesus restored Peter, saying, "Feed my sheep." John 21:17. Peter's doubt was his test, and passing it made him a pillar of the early church. Your missteps don't disqualify you, they prepare you. God doesn't call the perfect, he perfects the called. Or maybe your doubt is about timing. "I'm too old," you think, or "I've missed my chance." Let's talk about Caleb, who at 85 years old stood before Joshua and declared, "Give me this mountain." Joshua 14:12. The world saw an old man, God saw a warrior. Caleb's faith didn't falter through 40 years of wandering, it grew stronger. Your age isn't a barrier, it's a badge of endurance. Or perhaps you're young, feeling unready, like Timothy, whom Paul encouraged. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. 1 Timothy 4:12. Your youth is not a limitation, it's a launch pad. God's timing is not your calendar. This test is about trusting his clock, not yours. Now, let's get practical. Passing this test isn't about grand gestures or flawless faith. It's about small, intentional steps that align your heart with God's plan. Here are 3 specific actions you can take today to step through this gate and claim your breakthrough. First, write down one goal for the next 7 days. It could be starting a project you've delayed, like registering a business name, or something personal, like reading a chapter of the Bible daily. Put it on paper, place it where you'll see it, and pray over it each morning. This act roots your faith in reality. Second, reach out to someone you've been meaning to connect with, a friend you've lost touch with, a family member you need to forgive, or a mentor who can guide you. Send that text, make that call, or write that email today. Relationships are God's bridges to destiny. Third, take one bold step toward your calling. If you feel led to write, start with 1 paragraph. If it's a ministry, create a social media page. If it's a job, update your resume. These steps aren't just tasks, they're declarations that you're ready to pass the test. These actions, writing a goal, reconnecting with someone, and taking a bold step, are your keys to unlocking the gate. They're not suggestions, they're spiritual strategies grounded in faith and fueled by obedience. The Bible says in James 2:17, "Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead." Your faith is alive, chosen one. but it needs legs to move. These steps are your movement, your way of saying yes to God's test. No more steps will be added, but these 3 will carry you far if you commit to them with your whole heart. Imagine standing before that golden gate, your name glowing brighter with each step you take. Doubt tries to pull you back, whispering lies about your worth, but you keep walking. Each action, writing, reaching out, stepping boldly, chips away at the chains of fear. The gate swings wider, revealing a path lined with promises, peace that surpasses understanding, purpose that ignites your soul, provision that overflows. This is your spiritual awakening, your personal transformation, the moment you stop surviving and start thriving. But it starts with passing the test, with choosing to believe you're worthy of what God has prepared. Let's talk about David, a shepherd boy who faced a giant when no one else dared. Doubt screamed in his ears, too young, too small, too unprepared. But David didn't focus on Goliath's size, he focused on God's strength. With a slingshot and a stone, he passed his test, not because he was fearless, but because he acted despite his fear. Your giant might be a financial burden, a broken relationship, or a dream that feels impossible. Your stone is your faith, and your slingshot is your obedience. Take aim, chosen one. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. If this message is stirring your spirit, don't let it fade. Your support through Super Thanks helps us carry this truth to others, standing at their own gates, trembling with doubt, but ready for destiny. Every seed you sow extends this divine invitation to another soul. And right now, type, "I am passing my test" in the comments. Let your declaration echo in the spiritual realm, a signal to heaven that you're ready to walk through. Your words are power, binding you to this moment of transformation. Doubt is a liar, but it's also a teacher. It reveals where your faith needs to grow. When you doubt your strength, God says, "My power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. When you doubt your path, He says, "I will lead you along paths you have not known." Isaiah 42:16. When you doubt your purpose, He says, "I have called you by name, you are mine." Isaiah 43:1. This test is about trusting His voice over the noise of your fears. It's about believing that every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every moment of waiting was sculpting you for this divine moment. Consider Maria, a teacher from Seattle who felt stuck in a job that drained her soul. She dreamed of starting a non-profit to mentor at-risk youth, but doubted she had the resources or expertise. For years, she prayed for a sign, but doubt kept her paralyzed. Then, during a church service, she heard a still, small voice, "Start where you are." She took her first step, writing a mission statement for her non-profit. That led to a conversation with a colleague who connected her with a grant writer. Within a year, Maria's non-profit was serving 20 students, and her doubt had become her testimony. Your doubt is not your enemy, it's your invitation to trust God's provision. This test is urgent because God's plan operates on divine timing. Think of Esther, who faced a test of courage when her people were threatened with destruction. She could have doubted her role, her influence, her readiness, but she passed the test, saying, "If I perish, I perish." Esther 4 verse 16, and saved a nation. Your test may not involve a king's court, but it carries eternal weight. Someone's breakthrough, maybe your child's, your friend's, or a stranger's, depends on your yes. Will you hesitate, or will you act? Picture yourself crossing that golden gate. On the other side, you see not just your own victory, but the ripple effects of your obedience. Your small business employs struggling parents. Your forgiveness restores a family. Your bold step inspires a community. This is your destiny, chosen one. Not a fleeting moment of success, but a legacy that echoes through generations. The test is here, and passing it means choosing faith over doubt, action over hesitation, God's truth over the enemy's lies. As you stand at this threshold, remember Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Doubt weighed on him as he prayed, "If it is possible, let this cup pass from me." Matthew 26:39. Yet he passed the test, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." His obedience opened the door to salvation for all. Your obedience, though smaller in scope, is no less significant. It's the key to your breakthrough, the spark for your personal transformation, the foundation for your divine purpose. Let's revisit those 3 steps, not to add more, but to anchor them in your heart. Write that goal. It's your blueprint for faith. Reach out to that person. It's your bridge to healing. Take that bold step. It's your leap into destiny. These actions are your response to God's test, your way of saying, "I trust you." They're not burdens, they're blessings, designed to propel you through the gate, like Noah building the ark before the rain, like Abraham leaving his home for an unknown land. Your obedience in these steps is your worship. Doubt will try to pull you back, but you're stronger than you know. The Bible says in Philippians 4:13, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Your strength doesn't come from your circumstances, it comes from the one who called you. Your test isn't about proving yourself, it's about proving Him, His faithfulness, His power, His love. Pass this test, and your life changes forever, not because you're perfect, but because He is. Imagine looking back on this moment a year from now. You see the steps you took, writing that goal, making that call, launching that project. You see the doors that opened, the relationships restored, the purpose ignited. You see the doubts that once loomed like giants, now lying defeated at your feet. This is your faith journey, chosen one. This is your moment to pass the test and step into the life God has prepared. The gate is open, but it won't stay that way forever. Divine opportunities are tied to divine seasons, and this season is yours. Don't let doubt write your story. Don't let fear steal your miracle. Don't let hesitation rob you of your destiny. You are chosen, called, and equipped. The test is here, and passing it is as simple as taking those 3 steps with a heart full of faith. Will you walk through, or will you linger in the desert? The choice is yours, but the time is now. Chosen one, as you stand at the threshold of this golden gate, its radiant light casting your shadow behind you, feel the weight of this moment. The desert winds may still howl, whispering doubts that try to claw you back, but you are not the same person who began this journey. The test before you, God's final test, is not a wall to climb, but a bridge to cross, built from the very doubts you've carried. Each question, each fear, each moment you wondered if God still saw you, has been a plank in this bridge, leading you to a destiny so vibrant it makes the stars seem dim. The Bible declares in Psalm 139:16, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Every step, every stumble, every tear was scripted in heaven's ledger, guiding you to this sacred now. This test is your invitation to trust that script, to believe that your doubts are not dead ends but doorways to divine purpose. Let's pause and consider what's at stake. Beyond this gate lies not just your breakthrough, but a legacy that will outlive you. Picture a tapestry, woven with threads of gold and crimson stretching across generations. Each choice you make today, each step you take through this test adds a thread to that tapestry, creating a pattern that your children, your community, even strangers you'll never meet, will trace with awe. Doubt tells you your life is small, insignificant, a fleeting spark in an endless night. But God says your life is a flame, kindled by His breath, meant to ignite a wildfire of hope. This test is about choosing which voice to believe, the enemy's lie or the Creator's truth. Romans 8:28 proclaims, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Your doubts, your struggles, your questions, they're not working against you. They're working for you, sculpting you into the vessel God envisioned. Think of Joseph, languishing in an Egyptian prison, his dreams of greatness mocked by iron bars and forgotten promises. Doubt must have gnawed at him. Had he misheard God's vision of bowing sheaves and stars? Yet in that dark cell, he passed his test not by escaping, but by interpreting the dreams of others, trusting God's timing even when it felt like abandonment. His doubt became his discipline, his waiting became his worship, and his prison became his platform. When the moment came, he stepped from dungeon to palace in a single day, not because he was fearless, but because he was faithful. Your prison, whether it's financial strain, a fractured relationship, or a dream deferred, is not your destination. It's your training ground, where doubt teaches you to lean on God's promises. Your test is to keep interpreting, keep trusting, keep stepping, even when the path is shrouded in shadow. Now, let's talk about someone closer to our time. James, a carpenter from Mobile, Alabama. At 42, he faced a failing business, mounting debts, and a marriage strained by stress. Doubt told him he was a failure, that his prayers for provision were futile. But one evening, sitting in his truck outside a hardware store, he felt a nudge to act on a long-buried idea: crafting furniture from reclaimed wood. Doubt screamed he lacked the market, the skills, the time. Yet James took one of those steps we've discussed. He wrote down his goal to create a single piece and sell it. That led to a local craft fair where a shop owner saw his work and offered a contract. Today, James's furniture graces homes across the state, and his marriage is stronger than ever. His doubt wasn't his defeat, it was his doorway, passed through by a single act of faith. Your doubt, chosen one, is waiting for the same courage. This test is urgent because God's promises are tied to his seasons, and seasons shift like tides. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. You've felt this shift, haven't you? That restlessness in your spirit, that sense that something is aligning, even if you can't see it yet. It's the sound of heaven's clock ticking. Not to pressure you, but to propel you. The enemy wants you to linger, to overthink, to let doubt paralyze you until the tide recedes. But God is saying, now is the time. This is your season. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out to someone, taking a bold action, are your oars, ready to carry you across this tide into the harbor of your destiny. They're not new tasks, they're your lifeline, your response to this divine moment. If this message is stirring a fire in your soul, consider sowing a seed through Super Thanks below. Your generosity helps us carry this truth to others, standing at their own gates, ready to pass their tests and claim their breakthroughs. Every gift extends this call to spiritual awakening, uniting the remnant in purpose. And right now, type "I trust God's timing" in the comments. Your declaration is a beacon, signaling to heaven that you're ready to move with the tide, and inspiring others to do the same. Your words build a community of faith, a family of chosen ones standing together. Let's confront another doubt that may be lurking, the fear that you're not enough. Maybe you're thinking, I don't have the charisma of a leader, the wisdom of a scholar, or the faith of a saint. Chosen one, God doesn't measure you by the world's yardstick. Look at Gideon hiding in a wine press, threshing wheat in secret to avoid the Midianites, when an angel called him a mighty warrior, Judges 6:12. Gideon's doubt protested. My clan is the weakest and I'm the least in my family. Yet God chose him, not for his strength, but for his surrender. Gideon's doubt was his test, and passing it meant trusting God's vision over his own. Your perceived weaknesses, your quiet voice, your limited resources, your past mistakes are not barriers. They're bridges, inviting God's power to shine through. This test is about believing you're enough because He is enough. Or perhaps your doubt is about the cost. Passing this test means change, leaving the familiar, risking rejection, stepping into the unknown. It's daunting, like standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind urging you to leap. But picture this. Beyond the cliff lies a valley of abundance, where rivers of provision flow, fields of purpose flourish, and skies of peace stretch endlessly. The leap is your test, and the wind is the Holy Spirit carrying you to safety. Jesus said in Matthew 16:25, "Whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." The cost of passing this test is your comfort. The reward is your calling. Those 3 steps, writing, reaching out, acting boldly, are your leap. Small enough to take today, powerful enough to change tomorrow. Imagine the ripple effects of passing this test. Your goal, written and pursued, inspires a friend to chase their own dream. Your outreach restores a relationship, healing wounds that echo through your family. Your bold step launches a project that provides for others, shifting the atmosphere of your community. This is your personal transformation. Chosen one, not a selfish gain, but a selfless gift. Your test is not just for you. It's for the souls tied to your obedience, the generations waiting for your thread in the tapestry. Doubt will tell you to shrink back, but faith says, step forward. You are the answer to someone's prayer. Let's draw inspiration from Rahab, a woman of Jericho whose past was marked by shame. Doubt could have convinced her she was unworthy when 2 Israelite spies sought her help. Yet, she passed her test, hiding them and trusting God's plan over her fear of betrayal. Her faith saved her family and earned her a place in the lineage of Jesus. Joshua 2, Matthew 1:5. Her doubt was her doorway, and her courage was her key. Your past, your flaws, your fears, they're not your story's end. They're its beginning, if you choose to pass this test. This moment is your spiritual awakening, where doubt meets divine purpose. The gate before you, glowing with your name, is not a fantasy. It's a promise, sealed by the one who never breaks his word. Those 3 steps are your map, guiding you through the test with clarity and courage. Write your goal to anchor your vision. Reach out to build your bridge. Act boldly to claim your ground. These are your tools, forged in heaven, ready for your hands. The test is here, and passing it means trusting that God's plan is bigger than your doubts, brighter than your fears, bolder than your hesitations. As you move toward this gate, feel the ground beneath you shift, not with uncertainty, but with anticipation. The doubts that once held you back are crumbling, replaced by a faith that burns like a torch in the night. You are not alone in this test. Thousands of chosen ones from every corner of the earth are standing at their own gates, their hearts racing with the same holy urgency. You are part of a remnant, a holy symphony, each note rising to declare that God's promises are true. Your test is your verse in this song, your chance to sing with all your might. Chosen one, as you stand poised before this radiant gate, its golden light bathing you in a warmth that feels like heaven's embrace, know that this moment is more than a test, it's a revelation. The doubts that once loomed like storm clouds are parting, revealing a sky ablaze with God's promises. You've carried questions that weighed like anchors. Why has my path been so hard? Why do I feel different, set apart, misunderstood? These questions aren't chains, they're chisels, carving you into a masterpiece of divine purpose. The Bible declares in Ephesians 2:10, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." Every doubt, every hardship, every moment you felt alone was God's careful crafting, shaping you for a destiny that fits you like a glove. This test is your unveiling, the moment you see yourself as He does, a chosen vessel ready to pour out His glory. Picture yourself holding a single seed, small and unassuming, its surface rough against your palm. Doubt tells you it's worthless, too tiny to matter. But God says, plant it. That seed is your faith, and the ground before this gate is fertile with divine possibility. The test is not about the seed size, but your willingness to sow it. To trust that what grows will be a tree of life, its branches sheltering generations. Your doubts about your worth, your timing, your strength are the soil where this seed takes root. They're not obstacles, they're opportunities, inviting you to trust God's process. Matthew 17:20 promises, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move." Nothing will be impossible for you. Your faith, however small it feels, is enough to pass this test, to shift mountains, to open gates. Let's talk about someone who faced this test. Lydia, a nurse from Denver, Colorado. At 38, she felt trapped in a cycle of burnout, her dream of opening a community health clinic buried under doubt. She questioned her expertise, her finances, her courage. "Who am I to do this?" she'd whisper, echoing the enemy's lies. But one Sunday, during a quiet moment in prayer, she felt a nudge to take a step. She wrote down her vision for the clinic, as we've discussed, pinning it to her fridge. That simple act led to a conversation with a pastor who connected her with a local philanthropist. Within months, Lydia secured a small grant, rented a space, and began serving her community. Her doubt didn't stop her. It drove her to act, proving that faith, not perfection, unlocks destiny. Your seed, chosen one, is waiting for your hands to plant it. This test is urgent because God's promises are not endless invitations, they're divine appointments, timed with celestial precision. Think of Noah, who built an ark under clear skies, doubt mocking him with every hammer strike. Yet he passed his test by trusting God's warning over the world's laughter. When the rains came, his faith became a refuge for his family and a testament for all time. Genesis 6:9. Your ark, your calling, your dream, your purpose may seem foolish to others, but it's God's blueprint for your life. The test is to keep building, to keep trusting, even when the sky is clear and doubt is loud. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, acting boldly, are your hammer and nails, tools to construct your future. They're not new tasks, they're your lifeline, anchoring you to this divine moment. If this message is kindling a spark in your spirit, consider supporting our mission through super thanks below. Your generosity helps us reach others standing at their own gates, ready to plant their seeds and pass their tests. Every seed you sow extends this call to spiritual awakening, uniting the remnant in purpose. And right now, type "I am planting my faith" in the comments. Your declaration is a vow, a signal to heaven that you're ready to sow, and a light for others to follow. Your words weave a tapestry of courage, connecting chosen ones across the globe. Now, let's face a doubt that may be stirring, the fear of being too broken. Maybe you're thinking, my past is too messy, my heart too scarred, my mistakes too many. Chosen one, your brokenness is not your burden, it's your beauty. Look at the woman at the well in John 4, her life a mosaic of broken relationships and shame. Doubt told her she was unworthy, but Jesus saw her differently. He met her in her brokenness, offering living water and a new purpose. Her test was to believe she was worthy of His love. and passing it turned her into an evangelist, drawing her village to Christ. Your scars are not disqualifications. They're credentials, proof you've survived the fire and emerged with a story that can heal others. This test is about embracing your brokenness as the vessel for God's glory. Or perhaps your doubt is about the unknown. Passing this test means stepping into a future you can't fully see, like crossing a bridge shrouded in mist. It's daunting but exhilarating, like the moment before a dawn you know is coming. Picture this: the mist parts, revealing a city of light, its streets paved with opportunities, its towers built from your dreams. This city is your destiny, and the bridge is your faith. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Your test is to walk, trusting the bridge holds, believing the city waits. Those 3 steps, writing, reaching out, acting, are your footsteps, steadying you as you cross. They're not just actions, they're acts of worship, proving you trust God's unseen promises. Imagine the impact of passing this test. Your written goal becomes a business that employs the struggling. Your outreach restores a friendship, breaking a cycle of loneliness. Your bold action launches a ministry offering hope to the lost. This is your personal transformation, chosen one. A shift from surviving to thriving, from doubting to declaring. Your test is not a solitary act, it's a symphony. Someone's healing, someone's salvation, someone's breakthrough hinges on your yes. Doubt will whisper, "You're not ready," but faith shouts, "You're chosen." Let's draw from Hannah, whose barrenness was her doubt's battleground. She faced years of longing, her prayers unanswered, her heart heavy with questions. Yet she passed her test by pouring out her soul to God, vowing to dedicate her son to his service, Samuel 1. Her doubt became her devotion, and her son Samuel became a prophet who anointed kings. Your barren places, your unfulfilled dreams, your unanswered prayers are not your story's end. They're its seedbed, waiting for your faith to plant. Your test is to keep praying, keep trusting, keep stepping, knowing God's answer is coming. This moment is your divine purpose unfolding, where doubt meets destiny. The gate before you, pulsing with your name, is not a dream, it's a door, opened by the one who holds all keys. Those 3 steps are your path, guiding you through the test with clarity and power. Write your goal to claim your vision. Reach out to build your community. Act boldly to seize your calling. These are your tools, crafted in heaven, ready for your courage. The test is here, and passing it means trusting that God's plan is greater than your doubts, stronger than your fears, brighter than your uncertainties. As you approach this gate, feel the air shift, not with tension, but with promise. The doubts that once bound you are unraveling, replaced by a faith that shines like a beacon. You are not alone in this test. Across cities and villages, in quiet homes and bustling streets, chosen ones are standing at their gates, their spirits alight with the same holy fire. You are part of a movement, a divine uprising, each heart beating to declare that God's promises are true. Your test is your role in this uprising, your chance to lead with faith. Chosen one, as you draw closer to this golden gate, its light now so vivid it seems to hum with a celestial song, feel the pulse of eternity aligning with your heartbeat. The doubts that once roared like a tempest are fading, their echoes drowned by the anthem of your divine purpose. You've wondered why your heart carries a fire that refuses to dim, why your spirit yearns for something greater than the ordinary. That fire, that yearning, is no accident. It's the signature of God's calling, etched into your soul before time began. The Bible declares in Romans 11:29, "For God's gifts and his call are irrevocable." Your doubts, your struggles, your questions have not erased this calling. They've refined it, polishing you like a gem for this moment. This test, God's final test, is not a hurdle to overcome, but a mirror to behold, reflecting the truth of who you are, a chosen one, destined to shift the course of history. Imagine holding a compass, its needle trembling not with uncertainty but with purpose, pointing toward a horizon where every promise God spoke over you awaits. Doubt whispers that the horizon is too far, the journey too perilous, the compass unreliable, but God says, follow it. This test is about trusting the compass of your faith, letting it guide you through the mist of uncertainty to a land of fulfillment. Your doubts about your readiness, your worth, your path are not detours, they're signposts, directing you to lean on God's guidance. Proverbs 3:5-6 assures, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Your faith, even when it wavers, is enough to pass this test, to align your steps with heaven's map. Let's meet Daniel, a graphic designer from Austin, Texas, who faced a crossroads at 30. His freelance career was faltering, his confidence eroded by clients who overlooked his work. Doubt told him he lacked the talent to compete in a crowded industry, yet in a moment of quiet reflection, he felt a spark to pursue a passion project, a series of inspirational posters rooted in his faith. He took one of the steps we've discussed, writing down his goal to create and share 10 designs online. That act led to a viral post, catching the eye of a publisher who offered him a contract. Today, Daniel's designs hang in homes and churches, spreading hope. His doubt wasn't his downfall, it was his doorway, opened by a single step of faith. Your compass, chosen one, is pointing to your own breakthrough, waiting for your courage to follow. This test is urgent because God's calling is not a suggestion, it's a summons delivered with the precision of a divine decree. Think of Jonah, who fled from God's call to Nineveh, doubt convincing him he could outrun his purpose. Yet, in the belly of the whale, he passed his test by surrendering, praying and trusting God's mercy, praying and trusting God's mercy. Jonah 2. His obedience saved a city and rewrote his story. Your Nineveh, your mission, your impact, your legacy may feel daunting, but it's where your purpose lies. The test is to turn toward it, to trust God's call over your fear of failure. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, acting boldly, are your sails, catching the wind of the Holy Spirit to propel you forward. They're not new tasks, they're your anchor, grounding you in this divine summons. If this message is setting your spirit ablaze, consider sowing a seed through Super Thanks below. Your generosity helps us carry this call to others standing at their own gates, ready to follow their compass and pass their tests. Every gift amplifies this spiritual awakening, uniting the remnant in purpose. And right now, type "I am following my calling" in the comments. Your declaration is a trumpet, sounding your commitment to heaven and inspiring others to answer their summons. Your words forge a community of faith, a legion of chosen ones rising together. Now, let's address a doubt that may be stirring, the fear of standing out. Maybe you're thinking, I'm not meant to be seen, to lead, to shine. Chosen one, your light is not your own. It's God's, entrusted to you to illuminate the darkness. Look at Deborah, a prophetess and judge in a time when leadership was rare for women. Judges 4:5. Doubt could have kept her silent, but she passed her test by embracing her role, guiding Israel to victory. Her fear of standing out became her strength. her uniqueness her weapon. Your difference, your quiet strength, your unconventional path, your distinct vision is not a flaw. It's your fingerprint marking you as God's chosen. This test is about shining, trusting that your light will draw others to Him. Or perhaps your doubt is about the sacrifice. Passing this test means letting go of comfort, of control, of the familiar. It's like standing at the edge of a river, its current swift and unyielding, inviting you to dive in. Picture this: the river carries you to a shore of abundance, where fields of purpose stretch endlessly and skies of peace glow with divine favor. The dive is your test, and the current is God's grace, sustaining you. Jesus said in John 12:24, "Unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds." The sacrifice of your doubts, your fears, your safety yields a harvest of destiny. Those 3 steps, writing, reaching out, acting, are your dive, small enough to take now, powerful enough to yield fruit forever. Imagine the legacy of passing this test. Your written goal sparks a movement, empowering others to pursue their dreams. Your outreach heals a wound, restoring a family's joy. Your bold action builds a bridge, guiding the lost to hope. This is your divine purpose, chosen one, a legacy not of fleeting fame but of eternal impact. Your test is not just for you. It's for the souls tethered to your courage, the generations shaped by your faith. Doubt will whisper, "You're not enough," but faith declares, "You're appointed." Let's draw from Nehemiah, who faced a city in ruins and a heart full of doubt. He questioned his ability to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, a cupbearer far from a builder. Yet, he passed his test by praying and acting, rallying a people to restore what was broken, Nehemiah 2:4. His doubt became his drive, and his walls became a testament. Your ruins, your broken dreams, your unmet hopes are not your end. They are your rebuilding site, waiting for your faith to raise them. Your test is to keep building, keep trusting, keep stepping, knowing God's strength is yours. This moment is your faith journey unfolding, where doubt meets destiny. The gate before you, alive with your name, is not a wish, it's a promise, sealed by the one who never fails. Those 3 steps are your path, guiding you through the test with power and clarity. Write your goal to claim your purpose, reach out to build your legacy, act boldly to seize your calling. These are your tools, forged in eternity, ready for your hand. The test is here, and passing it means trusting that God's calling is louder than your doubts, stronger than your fears, brighter than your hesitations. As you step closer to this gate, feel the ground hum with divine energy, not with doubt, but with destiny. The fears that once held you are dissolving, replaced by a faith that roars like a lion. You are not alone in this test. From distant shores to city streets, chosen ones are standing at their gates, their spirits ignited with the same holy zeal. You are part of a divine rebellion, each heart rising to proclaim that God's calling is true. Your test is your banner in this rebellion, your chance to lead with faith,